Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to Vanguard Live. My name is Tolulokwe Abereje. As we continue in the celebration of the International Women's Day today, we'll have to continue in our discussions on certain topics. And with me this afternoon is the woman editor, Vanguard newspaper, Mrs. Morenike Tyree. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
And
Hi, viewers.
And also with me is assistant woman editor, Vanguard newspaper, Mrs. Fumi Ajumobi. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, today is the International Women's Day, and then there are certain things we have to discuss concerning women. Looking at the economic aspect, do you think the 21st century Nigerian woman has been empowered enough to compete favorably in the Nigerian economy?
Personally, I don't like the word empowerment, specifically because empowerment must come from within, from the woman herself, not from outside sources. Having said that, it's been traditional in Nigeria and Africa in general for women in government, wives of governors, wives of presidents, to pick up empowerment projects and give and help the women. And this has worked in the past, but in the 21st century, a different set of skills are necessary for women to be able to stand on their own. Not only women, for everybody to be able to stand on their own. Unfortunately, these skills have been given more to men than to women. So you have a situation where most of the time the traditional skills are given to women while the men are being stepped up.
Okay, so what do you think can be done to change the stereotype?
Well, it's not a stereotype as such. It is a policy issue. There have to be policies that say, for instance, the university, for instance, that is going to admit students, or a polytechnic should admit maybe at least 40% or 50% of girls in non-traditional fields, such as engineering and the STEM fields that are really hot these days.
To you, Ms. Fumi, women and girls, they are seen as easy targets when it comes to domestic violence issues. So because they are seen as a vulnerable, gender. Okay, the government has also, in a way, helped to curb this menace in our society. But don't you think other organizations, corporate bodies, should also assist the government in this issue?
Thank you. The issue of rape, domestic violence, the government is doing a lot, but there are a lot of NGOs that are supporting the government. We have a lot of them. It's not the issue of policy, it's the issue of awareness. And they are doing a lot about, on that line. We have a CPN, that's Child Protection Network. We have, for instance, in Lagos State, they've done a lot. They've set up so many agencies, and the Implementation Committee on Child Rights, Implementation Committee on Child Rights Law. They are doing a lot about, and people ask, if there's awareness, why is it that we read so many stories on rape, on sexual abuse, even to a child of 5 years, 6 years? But to me, I think the awareness is good. Government is doing a lot, and NGOs are doing a lot, but the problem is from the home. The problem is from the home. To me, because the parents have to open their two eyes, not rebuking the children or telling them that if you touch my body, if somebody touch you, come and report to me. Let them know the part of their bodies and everything they need to be aware of. You know, in this century, some people will tell you they won't call the name of the part of your body the real name.
Yes.
They say that thing. And I think that's the problem we have. We have to, about awareness, government is doing a lot and we have a lot of agency. But what can be done is still awareness.
Okay.
Let people continue to know about it, that it is happening. Because some people don't still believe that it happens. They believe media just hook up stories and put on the in the newspaper that how can a man rape a 5 years old. You understand?
Yes.
But things are really happening in Nigeria. I think not even Nigeria alone, in the whole world. But we need to continue the awareness, let people know what is happening.
Okay. So making the law and people speaking up is one thing, but then prosecuting offenders is entirely different game. You know, as the offenders, people that have been brought to the papers, to the TV screen, have they been persecuted accordingly?
Making the law is one thing. Executing judgment is another thing. You know, even the NGOs that are at the forefront to do all these things, they are relaxing now, because when you bring perpetrators out, and when you get to a stage, there's no moving forward again, and there have been no judgment. Mrs. Tyree, the judgment that we had recently, the person has appealed, and how will people be encouraged to do more when a child of 4 years is being raped, tortured, because that's torture to me, and get to police station, and you know, though government have done a lot about the training the police and all that, but there's still some bad head among them that can still go and put hand. They say, "Come, let's see, are you sure that they rape you? Open your, come on, let me see what is happening." You understand? But thank God that they are coming up, they are going through a lot of training, and I know it won't, before you know, it won't happen again. But what I just want the government to do is that let people have judgment. Even journalists, we are tired of putting news in the newspaper that something happens, so, but there's no judgment to it. What happened to the perpetrator? What happened? What the psychological effect on the child?
Yes.
What is the government doing about that? The psychological effects. What are we doing about that? Because what will happen is that this child that is being raped will tomorrow turn to be perpetrator tomorrow. If they are not cancer, if there's there are no cancer, there's no rehabilitation. What is the government doing about that? What are the NGOs doing about that? It's not about arresting the perpetrators. It's more than that. We should focus on the victim.
Yes.
The victim, what do we do?
Okay. Away from domestic violence issues now, let's go into a little bit of politics now. The representation of women in politics now is fantastically low, most especially in Nigeria. What do you think is the cause of this disparity in the representation of women in political positions, political offices?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by fantastically low. It was lower than that before. But women over the years, especially since 1999, the return of democracy, have fought and won the policy of 40% representation, which was mostly implemented during the Jonathan administration. Unfortunately, in the last 8 years, not 8 years, 5 years, things have somehow been wishy-washy regarding the representation of women, to such a degree that the last elections that we just had 2 weeks ago, only 7 women came back to the Senate out of the 8 which was there before, which was abysmal enough. Even fewer House of Reps came back.
level.
which is also less than what was there before. This is unfortunate because you can say that what does it matter whether it's men or whether it's women? The problem is that if we are here discussing women's issues, which affect half of Nigeria's population, we must have policies that will then favor such women. And if it's only men who are in policy making, law making positions, executive positions, we will not have policies that will favor women and children. And any policy that doesn't favor women and children in the home, for instance, does not favor the man either. If a woman does not have, let's say, good maternity leave, how does she take care of the home, and how does she take care of her work and play her role in the home for the man to be able to function properly? So we must begin to see these things in a more holistic manner, to see that women are not just fighting for, oh, we want to be seen or we want to be relevant. It is that we need to take our place and play our role in society. People are always talking about Rwanda, about how Rwanda has the most number of women in parliament. This is so deliberately because there was a crisis in that country, and they had seen that if it is only men who are there, there is no way the crisis will be. Men will love you, but there is a tendency for revenge and all of that. But when women come in, they talk about peace, they are thinking of their children, their children's children, generations to come. So they were able to come, bring peace back to that country in their own political context. In our own political context, we need that peace just as much. But where are the women?
Okay, but in our typical society now, people tend to see women that choose to go into politics to go pursue their career. They see them that you're trying to run away from responsibility. You're going to cause a strain between the mother-children relationship. Is this so true? Because in our society now, they say is the woman that neglects her child that they can rape. She has gone to work, so they can easily rape her children. So is that really true concerning our society?
There are many facets through which that can be looked at. But it is unfortunate that truly, if a woman is not on ground, so many things can happen. Even in the animal kingdom, when you see a chicken that the chickens just hatched, if you come near that chick, that small, nice looking hen you are seeing can become a killing machine. It's the same thing with human beings. How much more human beings? Unfortunately, because of the economic situation in the country, many women have to work outside of the home. But you see, in terms of relationships are not the preserve of women alone. It's not only women that relationships affect, whether good or bad. So it is the responsibility of the woman, it's the responsibility of her spouse, it's the responsibility of other family members to sit down and decide how that child or those children will be taken care of while the woman is away from work. It's not only the woman's responsibility. That child might be a boy or a girl, not necessarily a girl. So if it is a boy, what of all the boys who are miscreants all over the place, who are doing all kinds of things? Is it not women who raise them? So it's not only, abuse is not only about rape or all of that. There are very, very different forms of abuse. And the woman cannot be held responsible on her own. The entire family has to be responsible for how the children will be taken care of.
say I agree with that. Okay. Okay, so do we agree to some extent that most professions are male dominated? They are dominated by male counterparts. That females are always underrepresented in majority of our professions. Do we agree with that?
Of course, I agree with that, but I can't blame them. Women need to come up. You need to come up, because if you are not qualified, nobody's going to put you there. So we should stop saying that in your office that they can't put you there. If you are not qualified, they won't put you there. That's why we need to come up in our trainings, the training, so that they can see you and give you your position. You can't fight your position when you are not qualified. You understand? When you are in an office, train yourself. If they don't train you, there are a lot of opportunity online. Train yourself. By the time they put you there, they can see that you can do it. So enough of saying gender balance is good. We want gender balance, but we too should not sit down and be waiting for people to promote us in our place of work.
If I may also add to that, there's been a lot of study done on women and their biology. Because of the woman's role to carry the young one and breastfeed and do all of that, there is no way that is not going to affect the output at work. So women who wish to be in the workplace need to put in an extra effort. She needs to choose her battles. She needs to decide that this is what's important to me, this is what is not important to me. And like my colleagues said, it's very important for the individual woman to be responsible for her own self.
Okay. I'd like to take a cue from what your response earlier. You said women should work on themselves and get trained. But that is what we see from the inside. On the outside, people see that, okay, you started a job and you start getting promotion. They don't want to know whether you are trained for it or not. They think, okay, she has been taken down by the GM, by the manager, and that's why she is climbing up. How do we change that orientation?
That's insinuation. I don't believe in that. It has to be do with the mind. Nobody can bring you down if you are training yourself. And if you have promotion and some people are telling you that because you know GM or you know this, that you are up there, by that time they see what you have, your trainings and everything, it will speak for you. So you don't listen. Women should not listen to that. All you need to work on is your mind and consciously train yourself. And don't let anybody bring you down. That's my.
Okay. We're wrapping up with the Women's Celebration for year 2019. So, Ma, in closing, I want you to give the women out there award.
Ladies, you are awesome. You are great. There is nothing that can hold you back. I want to come back to the theme of 2019 International Women's Day, Balance for Better. It's talking about how bringing women into the fabric of society will bring us a more balanced society. So ladies, take your place in society and let nobody shake you.
Thank you very much for coming, Ma. Thank you for coming. We're very happy. Happy International Women's Day, everybody. Good afternoon.